without fear. There's no bravery, never try.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Heavy Bag Heroes. I am absolutely pumped to be back here. We've got a huge fight this weekend. UFC 322, Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena. Islam Makhachev, the reigning lightweight champion, has relinquished his title to come up to the 170 division, and he's going to fight Jack Della Maddalena, who just won the belt off of Bilal Muhammad, a great friend of Islam Makhachev, and also a phenomenal wrestler. So this is going to be an awesome card to talk about. I'm really excited about. I didn't cover the last two fight nights. I was planning on it and then just had a lot of life happen. Wasn't really able to watch either one of them, except for I did get to see the main event for not this past weekend, but the weekend before. Steve Garcia got a great finish. And then this past weekend, I really watched because Zachary Reese, old boy from Shiner, Texas, baby, let's go. He was fighting, hadn't seen him in a minute. His last fight out, I can't remember the guy's name that he fought, Dumas. He kicked him in the nuts so hard that they canceled the fight. They stopped the fight. I don't think it was a DQ. I think it was just a no contest, which is super unfortunate. It was literally like 5 seconds into the fight, too. So that sucks. I was glad, Zachary Reese, he got the win this weekend. Second round, rear naked choke. Really good fighter. Just super, super well-rounded. Really well-rounded. So that was cool to see. Zachary, if you ever see this by some shot, someone shows it to you, maybe you catch it, in the SEO on Google, someone talking about you in the script. I would love to have you on. That would be really cool. So, yeah. Anyways, moving forward, UFC 322, absolutely pumped for it. Before we get into that, though, y'all know what it is. Shameless plug for the Heavy Bag Heroes website. It's hoodie season, and we've got plenty of options to keep you warm while still repping that HBH grit. From the No Easy Rounds hoodie to the Script logo pullovers, which are basically what I'm wearing now, except with the Script logo. Everything's built for comfort, durability, and that everyday grind. Whether you're hitting the gym or just trying to stay warm on a cold morning. Just added to the store, the new Script logo crew neck sweatshirt and the Ice Everything sweatshirt. Both perfect for the colder months and built with that same heavy-duty comfort you'd expect from HBH. These are really good products. Let me explain why. Really good quality, I should say. Got an order in for the Ice Everything sweatshirt. It's like an athletic heather, and then it's got the Ice Everything logo in the center of it. It looks really cool. I got to wear it for about 10 seconds before my girlfriend said, I want that. And she's had it ever since, and she's been wearing it ever since, which is really cool. I like it that she does that. But also she says it's really comfortable, even though it's like 2 sizes way too big for her, but she likes to wear it, which is really cool. It's a very comfortable material. I like to test everything out, before we put it live on the store. And those are now live. They're great products. Really high quality stuff. Got really cool designs with them. So check it out at heavybagheroes.com. Grab your favorite hoodie and sign up for the newsletter for future drops, updates, and exclusive deals. Also trying to do a little blogging now. Put out a first blog for UFC 322 main event. Just kind of talking about how I think Islam and JD, their paths to victory, and also how I think the fight's going to go, which I'm going to talk about here anyways. So stick around for that. But also check out the Heavy Bag Heroes website for exclusive merch and drops that we're going to do. I got some cool ideas in the future. One day I'll probably really ring in the idea with Heavy Bag Heroes and not talk about UFC so much, but I'm not quite there yet. We're going to be talking about UFC, especially because there's such banging cards going on right now. So let's just go ahead and get into it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because I think I failed to do that last time. So I'm going to make sure, for sure, that I share my screen. Boom, there it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to start with the first prelim of the night. And I am going to attempt to convince you to watch them. That's the goal here. Bassinger Susukre versus Eric Makhachev. Don't know how to say his name. Sorry, brother. This one's going to be interesting. It's a middleweight fight. They haven't put out the odds for it yet, but I imagine it's going to be heavy to Susukre. I've actually talked about Susukre before in his fight with Eric Nolan, who was like Eric Nolan, former military. He's been in the regional circuit, got the call up to come fight in the UFC versus Susakrave, who took the fight on like the same week too. He fought and won on the Contender Series on Tuesday, and then fought on the main or in the prelims on Saturday versus Eric Nolan. Super strange. Super strange. I think initially it was two other fighters, one backed out, so they brought in Eric Nolan maybe to replace him, and then the other one backed out, for injuries or whatever, and then Susakrave came and replaced him. So ended up being a really cool fight. I think Susakrave is definitely going to be the favorite here. I think he's going to go to 11-0. Eric has not had a ton of success in the UFC thus far. Nothing crazy. He's only had 2 fights in the UFC. First one was a loss, knockout in the second round. And the first one, he got a win over Cody Brundage, and it was a split decision. So I think it's going to be a pretty decisive, maybe possibly a first-round finish. Susakrave's like super skillful, really good, really good. So then we've got Angela Hill and Fatima Klein. That'll be the next fight. Current odds for that, Angela Hill plus 340. Fatima Klein is minus 475. And if you don't know how odds work, usually the minus number, I say usually, all the time, the minus number means that person is the favorite. If you bet, you have to bet $475 on Fatima Klein to win $100. So then you walk out with $575. So it's obviously not it's a lot of risk for a little reward, but I say it's a lot of risk. It's not a lot of risk. It's kind of a safer bet because they're basically saying we believe she's going to win pretty decisively. So you're basically betting $475 to win $100 if she wins, right? And then on the flip side of that, you've got plus 340 for Angela Hill. That's if you bet $100, you'll win $340. So if she wins, right, that's kind of the risk you're going with, is like, how much do you want to bet on an underdog and how much do you want to bet on a favorite? Because it's like, man, there's potential. You bet that 475 on Fatima to make $100 and then she loses, that's not good. Anyways, so Angela Hill, she is a veteran in the sport, and Fatima's pretty new. She, I think, lost her first fight in the UFC. I can double check this real quick. I think she lost her first fight in the UFC. And then actually got 2 back-to-back KOs. One of them was elbows. One of them was by a kick in the third round. Yeah, she's kind of I don't want to say she's on a roll because it's a 2-fight win streak. But Angela Hill is kind of like, I would call her a journey woman. She's been in the UFC for a long time. Her first fight in the UFC was December 12th, 2014. So she's been around for a while. Lots of wins, lots of losses. She's currently 2-1 in her last 3. All went to decision. I imagine I'm gonna go with the Vegas odd makers here. I imagine Fatima's gonna take it. I think, but you just never know. Also, with these veterans, sometimes these veterans come out like Jim Miller and just beat the brakes off these young guys. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna put my money on Fatima if I'm gonna put my money on anybody. Above that, we got Pat Satabini versus Chepe Mariscal. This is a featherweight fight. Pat Sabatini. That's his name. Been in the UFC for a little bit. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I believe that is 7 wins, 2 losses. Several finishes. His last fight was versus a name I can't pronounce, and it was a unanimous decision. What's really interesting about this, though, is that 3 5-minute rounds, there were 27 strikes total thrown. So kind of weird. Don't really know what's going on there. And Chepe is undefeated in the UFC, mostly by decisions. He's got 1 knockout in the second round versus Jack Jenkins, which makes me really sad because I love Jack Jenkins. How did I not remember that fight? Oh, this may have been when Jack Jenkins broke his rib. That's exactly what it was. Jack Jenkins doesn't get knocked out. Come on, man. Anyways, undefeated in the UFC. So I imagine he's probably going to keep his. He's not fully undefeated. He's 18-6 in his pro career, but in the UFC he has not lost yet. So I imagine Chepe is probably going to take it, even though Pat is the favorite here, minus 130 to plus 110. I'm going to go with Chepe here. Let's go with the underdog. I think he's going to get it done. I think Pat's not going to be able to do it. So I haven't seen Pat fight in a minute. He probably has fought in recently. Let's go look. His last fight was April 5th, 2025. Yeah. So I feel like I haven't seen him fight in a while, so I wouldn't really be able to speak to his performance or anything. I think same thing with Chepe. I don't think he's fought in a while. March 1st, 2025. Yeah, same thing. So I'm not sure why I can't remember that Jack Jenkins fight. Then we've got the early prelims main event, if you will. Gerald Meerschaert versus Kyle Dawkins. Something to note here. Gerald Meerschaert is 37-20. That is a very long time to fight. Like, you're overdoing it at that point. Anthony Smith, you overdid it. I don't even know what that guy's record is, but I know he's got like it's got to be over 40 wins and 40 losses, something like that. Something crazy like that. Man, he would absolutely whoop my butt if I said that to him. Kyle Dawkins, 16-4. He is actually the favorite at -380, and Gerald Meerschaert is the underdog at 290. This is a middleweight fight, which is a 185 weight class. Let's get some information. Gerald, he is on a 3-fight loss. 2 of them by finishes, 1 of them by decision. That Mikhail Olenjinsky fight, which was his last fight, he looked horrible. So I'm expecting him to look horrible here too. While Kyle Dawkins, I believe, had a finish in his last. Yeah, he finished Michael Pereira in his last fight in the first round. 2 losses before that. Lost to let's see, Roman Dolidze, pretty notable name. No contest with Kevin Holland, unfortunately. But yeah, he's not. I mean, he's got 4 wins in the UFC, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses. I know y'all can't see the screen I'm looking at, but that's on purpose. I'm doing that on purpose. But I'm going to take Dawkins on this one. I like, not even because I think he's a better fighter. I think that Gerald is out of it. I think he's like trying to fight out of his contract. I think he's done. He looked like it the last time he fought. Didn't seem like he wanted any of it. So just get out, dude. Just get out. I don't know what kind of contract you signed, but just get out of the UFC. Might be a fight fixer. That's what it is. Moving on from that, we're getting into the prelims. Malcolm Wellmaker, 10-0 versus Cody Haddon. This will be a fun one. They don't have odds for it yet, but I'm pretty excited about this one. Cody's got 2 wins in the UFC, 1 by decision, 1 by rear naked choke in the first round. And Malcolm is completely undefeated in the UFC as well, all by knockouts, all by first round. So this will be kind of cool. Who is going to lose their UFC 0? Well, really for Malcolm, it'll be his 0. He's 10-0. So he either goes 11-0 or he goes 10-1. So this will be a fun one to watch. Bantamweight guys are always fun to watch. Malcolm Wellmaker, can he keep the first round knockouts alive? Can Cody Haddon stop him from Australia? This is kind of one of those sleeper fights. Like I will definitely be paying attention for this fight. So if you're going to pay attention to one fight on the early prelims or on the prelims, pay attention to this one, because this next one is not that exciting. Aaron Blanchfield, 13-2 versus Tracy Cortez, 12-2. Both good fighters. Aaron's the favorite, -255 to +205. That's a pretty significant favorite. Really nothing crazy here. Tracy, I don't think, has a single finish in her UFC career, so do not expect a finish. She's she's actually been doing really well in the UFC, to be honest. Her only loss was versus Rose Namajunas. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins in the UFC. But all by decision. Nothing super crazy about that. I think Aaron Blanchfield actually has some finishes, but now she lost to Manon Fiorot back in 2024. I think that's right before Fiorot fought for the belt and then got her butt whooped. And then she actually beat Rose Namajunas, outstruck her, which is kind of crazy, 110-94. But it was a unanimous decision. So I don't know. I feel like the last time I saw Tracy Cortez fight, she fought a really good fight. It probably was the Rose Namajunas fight. I think she fought pretty good. Maybe a little too much hype. I think Aaron Blanchfield is also one of those past picks that I was like, do not pick her, and then she dominated. So maybe I'm not going to do that again, especially if she's the favorite here. So moving on from that, we've got a really good fight, another great middleweight fight. Roman Kopylov versus Gregory Rodriguez, or RoboCop. Right now, RoboCop is the favorite, which is kind of maybe not as surprising as I thought. Roman has not been doing super great. He recently, I'm trying to think, he lost to someone of significance, and that had a pretty intense effect. Oh, I didn't realize he lost his first 2 fights in the UFC. Went on a tear for a while for 4, fought Anthony Hernandez, got choked out, won his next 2. I didn't realize he knocked out Chris Curtis. Wow. And then he lost to Paulo Costa. I freaking love Paulo Costa. I'm so glad he won that fight. Gregory Rodriguez is just kind of one of those off and on guys, been in the UFC for a while. Lost to Jared Cannonier by knockout in not his last fight, but the fight before, and then beat Jack Hermanson first round KO. So this should be a good one. I think this is kind of one of those sleeper fights. You initially look at the stats and you're just kind of like, nothing crazy, but Kopylov is a crazy striker, really high level, but also just throws so hard. Yeah, I don't even know how to describe it. He just punches and he kicks so unbelievably hard. It's like he has no regard for breaking any of his limbs. And Gregory Rodriguez is unbelievably durable. His claim to fame is that massive gash he got in the center of his forehead during one of his fights. I can't remember which one that was. And they continued to let the fight go, which is nuts. It was huge. If you got a second to go Google that. Gregory Rodriguez forehead cut. It is tough to look at. And then I think we can all celebrate here. Bo Nickel has finally been bumped down to the prelims. And I hope that came from the bullying of MMA Twitter to the UFC. Because Bo Nickel was about to fight a guy that no one has heard of. No offense, Rodolfo. And was on the main card over Dariush and Benoit Saint Denis. So, Bo Nickel, I think you're a great guy. I think you're a great fighter, but I'm sick of this treatment you've been getting. All right? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of this Dana White privilege. You got what you get. Now you got to earn it back. You got to earn that main card slot back, son. So let's get it. Get out there and get it. Anyways, Bo Nickel, 7-1. He is the favorite by minus 250. Rodolfo is the plus 200 underdog. And I got to say, it's nice to not see Bo Nickel at a minus 1,000. I want to see Bo Nickel do well. I want to see him be successful. I just did not like the way in which he was gaining his success. He was fighting some tomato cans on the main card over other great fighters. I think I talked about that in the past one. And it just wasn't fun to watch. But we'll go over some of the stats for those guys. So Rodolfo had been in the UFC for a little bit, since 2019. 3 losses out of 6 wins. 6 wins, 3 losses in the UFC. His last fight was a win, unanimous decision versus Tresean Gore, and then lost to Andre Petroski, unanimous decision. 2 finishes before that. One of those was Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage's claim to fame is the brief fight he had with Bo Nickel. So this should be pretty good. As we all know, Bo Nickel got absolutely decimated by Reinier de Ridder in his last fight. And we were all like, whoa, Reinier is crazy good. He must be amazing if he just beat Bo Nickel. And then we all watched de Ridder quit on the stool versus that guy. I'm so mad I can't. Brennan Allen. I knew that. I'm so mad. Versus Brendan Allen. So, well, not only that, Reinier also beat Robert Whittaker, and it was like, what the heck? But there's an argument to be made that Whittaker won that fight, I will say. But after de Ridder quit on the stool, we're not as big of fans of him. So, Bo Nickel, get after it, son. Get your win here. We want to see it happen. I want to see it happen. Everyone else may hate you, but I don't. I think you're a good fighter. Let's just see it. And then getting into the main card. Here we go, baby. Super excited to see Beneil Dariush back. He is the underdog right now at 160. Benoit Saint Denis is coming in as the favorite at minus 190. Saint Denis has had some great success in his last couple fights. Good to see him kind of coming back. This is a lightweight title fight, so this is the division that Islam Makhachev is coming from. Islam Makhachev was the champion here. Beneil Dariush was supposedly going to be the guy to dethrone him, and then he got knocked out several times in a row. And so that did not happen. But I would love to see Beneil come back. He's 23-6-1. Benoit is 15-3. Benoit was great until he met Dustin Poirier, and Dustin Poirier did what Dustin Poirier does, baby. And he put him down. Sent him back down. Yeah, Dariush was doing really well in the UFC. He's been in the UFC for a long time. I did not realize this. Since 2014. If you're wondering what I'm looking at UFCstats.com. Pulls up all their fights, the statistics behind it. But he went on a really long win streak and had some incredible knockouts along the way. Dakar Klaus is one of the craziest knockout sequences you'll see. Klaus basically had Dariush hurt and almost knocked him out. Somehow Dariush connects with him and then ends up knocking him out flat. That was a really good one. Tony Ferguson, tough. Matus Gamrot, went to decision with him, and then he lost by TKO. Pardon me. To the great Charles do Bronx. Fought Arman Tarsukian, got KO'd in the first round there. Beat Renato Moicano back in June, which I don't even remember that fight. I don't know how I don't remember that fight, but I don't even remember that fight. And now he's fighting Benoit Saint Denis, who is coming off of a 2-fight win streak. Previous losses before that were Renato Moicano and Dustin Poirier, the GOAT. And then several wins before that, 5 wins before that. First fight in the UFC was a split decision loss. So hoping he comes back and has a good fight. But I think I'm going for Beneil Dariush here, man. I love Dariush. I think he's a huge hitter. And I think if he does what he does and if he gets to Saint Denis's chin, like we've seen it fold before, and it can definitely happen again. So I'm going with Beneil Dariush as the American. Let's go, baby. No, I'm not like that. But I think Beneil Dariush, I think he can get it done. And I think he wants to get it done. And I think he'll get it done in a dramatic fashion. I think he will put out Benoit Saint Denis's lights. I think he'll turn them off, right off. Then we've got another absolute... This card is, as the MMA Twitter people would say, this card will feed generations, because it will. Because then we've got Leon Edwards, the former welterweight champion, versus Carlos Praetis, the up-and-comer, whose only loss was to Ian Gary, and Ian Gary fought him in the dumbest way possible. I mean, obviously got him the win, so it wasn't that dumb. But Carlos Praetis coming off of the spinning elbow highlight knockout versus Jeff Neal. Praetis is a problem, man. He is just a straight-up problem. Just a dude who loves to fight. Just a dude who's got love for the game. Leon Edwards got absolutely dog-walked by Sean Brady. And I think the odds feel correct here. Minus 200 for Carlos Praetis, so he's the favorite. Leon Edwards, plus 170. Not too far off, giving some respect to Leon as the former champion. And I think back to, man, what fight was it? Leon fought, it had to be the Nate Diaz fight, where I felt like Leon, well, Nate Diaz and the Bilal Muhammad fight, where Leon just fought like how you want him to fight. And just super explosive, super skilled, super technical, but was just making it happen. But then in his fights versus Usman, he was very conservative. He was very slow until the knockout in the first. But even in the second fight, it wasn't exciting. It just is like he holds back. And as a fan, you've seen what he's done, and you're just like, why don't you keep doing that? And the Bilal fight where he lost his title was just incredibly hard to watch. He just seemed like he didn't want to be there. And then versus Sean Brady, he just got his butt whooped. Sean just manhandled him. He dog-walked him. That's the only thing I can say. I think Carlos Praetis is going to have a phenomenal time with the range. I need to go back and, like, how is he beatable? I guess just, like, pinning him against the cage. That's what Ian Gary did. Just pin him up against the cage and be as zesty as possible. Take away his distance. That's ultimately what we have to do, but I don't think Leon Edwards has that ability. So Leon Edwards is a striker. So he's either going to pull some wrestling out of the bag here to get it done, which I think would be somewhat wise of him. Somewhat wise. I'd be absolutely terrified of a guy who is incredible at throwing knees. But I think if Praetis is walking him down, he stands no chance. Praetis is going to control the distance completely. He's a phenomenal striker. He's going to find the chin. He's going to figure it out. He's going to make the reads. So this is going to be a fun fight to watch. I'm going with Carlos Praetis. I think it's going to be a knockout. Genuinely. I think it's going to be a knockout. I don't think it's going to decision. That is a bold take for me. Bold take. After that, just as I was speaking of the boogeyman, Sean Brady is fighting Michael Morales. Really love this fight. Brady should be 19-0. He shouldn't have lost that fight to Bilal. But he has come back, looked better than ever. Michael Morales has just been making a tear in the UFC. His last fight just absolutely dismantling Gilbert Burns. He's completely undefeated in the UFC. Notable wins. Neil Magny, Jake Matthews was a unanimous decision. Max Griffin, Trevin Giles. Some pretty notable names. Last two fights, knockouts in the first round. Neil Magny wasn't even, he didn't even stand a chance. Sean Brady on a 3-fight win streak. He beat Kevin Gastelum, Gilbert Burns, and Leon Edwards. His only loss was to Bilal Muhammad by a KO, TKO. How does that happen? How do you get knocked out by Bilal? I got to go to Bilal's record real quick. Knocked out Sean Brady. Everything else is decisions except for his second fight in the UFC was a knockout. And then he got knocked out by Vincent Luque the fight after that. So, I don't know. I don't know Sean Brady. I mean, I know you're better than him, for sure. You're absolutely better than him. I don't know what happened that night. I never heard any excuses. I don't know if he broke something, if you were sick, whatever it may be. That just should not have happened. You should not have gotten TKO'd. Even though, sorry, Sean, let me give you your roses here. You did not go down. The ref just called it, which this may be a fixed fight. UFC, FBI, look into that. Fixed fight. Sean Brady versus Bilal Muhammad. Should have never happened. Anyways, this is going to be a great fight. Michael Morales is one of those just naturally skillful guys. I don't want to say he doesn't work hard for what he does. He does. But when you watch him fight, you can just tell it's just like it just comes to him naturally. Where I feel like Sean Brady not only has a natural, just has put in the work to be as good as he is. Phenomenal on the ground. I think he'll use a lot of that in this fight to really try and dismantle and get away from getting knocked out. But also, he's a great striker, great boxing, great head movement. The way I see this going, probably Sean Brady's getting him down, looking for the finish. I think it might be a finish. I think it might be a submission finish. I don't think we've seen Michael Morales on the ground. We don't know how he is. He's from Ecuador. I don't know how his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is. So we'll see what happens. The Ecuadorians, like the Chito Veras, they just like to stand and bang. And they kind of get beat up whenever. They're great at takedown defense. Phenomenal at takedown defense. But when they get taken down, it's a problem. It's a huge problem. So I think that's going to be an awesome fight. Really excited for that. And then we've got Valentina Shevchenko versus Zhang Weili. Currently, Shevchenko is the favorite. Minus 135 to Zhang Weili, plus 115. I feel like that is respectable. I'll take that. Shevchenko has just been an absolute dog in the UFC. She had that one loss versus... I'll just look it up. Why am I not looking it up? What is happening? Clicked on the wrong thing. Sorry, everybody. Man, what is going on? Okay, there we go. Sorry, I got lost there for a second. Valentina Shevchenko had her loss versus Alexa Grasso, and then she had the draw. Oof. And then after that, she beat the brakes off of Alexa Grasso and Manon Fiorot. Champ is back. That's all I have to say, really. Champ is back. I really liked Alexa Grasso in those fights. I thought she was phenomenal. But that third fight with her, I mean, they forced it pretty hard, but Grasso, Shevchenko made adjustments where Grasso didn't. So it is what it is. Weili has just come back and is just in her original form as a champion. Won her last 5. 2 of them being decisions. I don't know what is PERF. Perfect? Is that what that means? I don't know. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, this is going to be a great crossover. Two champions fighting at the women's flyweight. It's going to be a good one. I'm glad they're making it happen. It's going to be a good one. And then to get to the main event, Jack Della Maddalena, the current welterweight champion who just beat Bilal Muhammad. And when I say beat, I mean beat the brakes off of Bilal Muhammad. Like, Jack walked out with some battle scars, but Bilal will probably never be the same. Versus the lightweight champion. I don't know if you can still call him that. The I forgot what it's, relinquish your belt, or what is it when you give up your belt? I guess relinquish. Gave up his lightweight belt, to which Ilia Topuria now holds, to come up and fight at 170 to be a 2-division champion. Which is weird, because I'm like, if you give up your belt, can you still be a 2-division champion? Like, are they going to bring out a second belt if he wins? They did that for Ilia, but he technically gave up the 145. Volk won it, and then he went and fought Charles. And they gave him the 2 belts, and then he gave that really weird, awkward push to Paddy the Baddy because he didn't want to drop his belts. Funny moment in time. But this is going to be a phenomenal fight, and I'm really excited to get into this. There is a lot of things to be said about this fight. There are a lot of people saying a lot of things about this fight, and one of those things is Islam is going to dog walk JDM with the wrestling, to which I don't agree. I think that there is some severe context to be had here. So let me give you that context. Islam Makhachev, one of his most notable fights, if not his most notable fight, was the first fight versus Alexander Volkanovski, who is a 145 champion coming up to 155. And arguably, there are a lot of people that would say, including me, that Alexander Volkanovski won that fight. Islam had an incredibly difficult time trying to get him down. When he did get him down, all he did was hold him. Didn't advance, didn't go for submissions. There's a sequence for maybe 2.5 minutes where Islam literally just held him on his back and didn't try and go for any chokes. He had a lot of trouble getting Volkanovski down. A 145-pound champion who is 5'6", maybe. I don't know how tall he is. He's not tall. Then you have Dustin Poirier come fight for the belt and take Islam into the deep waters. And Dustin is notoriously susceptible to the wrestling, unfortunately, as we saw in the Khabib fight. And I don't want to say the Charles Oliveira fight, but the Benoit Saint Denis fight. Benoit took him down several times, and that was, Dustin jumping the gilly 50 million times, but don't be silly. Jump the gilly. It's a way of life. But when you look at the big picture, Islam is supposed to be father's favorite, and he had a hard time taking Dustin out, who was at the very end of his career, literally the second to last fight of his career. New hip, torn up knee. He broke a rib in the fight, broke his eye socket, broke his nose, and had a very hard time getting Dustin down. And so I think people often forget that because they look at the Renato Moicano fight and are like, oh, he easily got the takedown there. The Charles Oliveira fight, he easily got the takedown there. It's just kind of like, for one thing, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys, the really high-level guys, there's a pattern of them being able, there's a pattern of them getting taken down very easily. There are several Brazilian UFC fighters who have super high-level jiu-jitsu credentials that it is very easy to take them down. And they don't mind it because they like fighting off their back. That's just how they do it. Like, Charles Oliveira's easily one of his most dangerous spots is when he's on his back. That is like when you need to be most terrified of Charles Oliveira. And so I just have a hard time thinking that Islam's going to have a ton of success in the takedown game. Now, where I will say he can have success is if he does as Coach Tyler tells him, right? Been watching the UFC a long time. I know how this works. Islam has a history, and Khabib, they have a history And maybe this is father's game plan, whatever. It's really good, if I'm going to be honest. They lull you to sleep on the feet. They don't threaten the takedown. They might throw their hands down there every once in a while, but they'll stay with you on the feet almost as long as they can until you finally stop thinking about the takedown. And then the moment you get into an engagement, they'll feint like the cross, go for the single leg, and take you down. And then boom, that's it. They're going to get to that at every point in the fight because now they're in your head. Now you're thinking about the takedowns too much, and they're doing all this other different stuff that's distracting you, and they just continually get takedowns. So I think it's possible if he goes about that, because Jack is going to be like, I want to stand and bang. That is just what Jack does. What really has an effect on the Islam Makhachevs and the Habibs is the guys who are reactionary to the takedown defense, right? Dustin was really reactionary. He had trained all camp with Gamrot, who's a phenomenal takedown artist. And so it became very easy, and I don't think he had to think about it as much, is the point I'm trying to make. To which I think that Jack did the same thing in his fight with Bilal, where everything was very reactionary and he wasn't having to think about it so much that it was taking away other aspects of his game plan, which that did happen to Dustin in his fight with Islam. He was thinking so much about the takedown that it took away a lot of his hands. But then as the fight went on, Dustin was like, okay, I'm defending takedowns. I'm going to start using my hands more and letting him go, to which he did. Dustin, I love you, man. Little glazing moment. I love you, Dustin Poirier. If you ever see this, I don't know, man. Thanks for reposting that video I made and liking one of my tweets. Means a lot. You're a great guy. Really cool. Nice teeth, by the way. Your teeth look great. Anyways, there is... I think JDM is one of those guys that has the ability to be very reactionary. He's been training with Craig Jones, who is a phenomenal jiu-jitsu guy. So it's going to be really fun. It's going to be really interesting to watch. I think for Islam, if he wants to get the win here, he's got to abuse feints. He's got to abuse feints with his hands, but also abuse feints with the takedown, because I think Islam is a better striker than Habib, so he can use that. And like I said earlier, just lulling him to sleep on the feet of like, yeah, we're going to stand and box. We're going to stand and kick. We're going to stand and strike. And then all of a sudden, whoop, got you on the takedown. I think that's like a huge key component. Is just like getting JDM to forget about the takedown in the midst of the fight. And then once he's forgotten, going for the takedown. I think he also can't, I think Islam can't be afraid to use his hands. I know the narrative is like, JDM is a striker, Islam is not. He's a wrestler. But, Islam knocked out Volk. He had great success versus Dustin, But, the other aspect is, Islam has moments where he's gotten knocked down. Even the Renato Moicano fight. Moicano got a good shot off on him while they're standing up. And I went back and watched that the other day, and I was actually whoa, Moicano's actually fought a good fight. That was during I am boycotting UFC because they're doing stupid crap like this. But yeah, and I think just I think for Islam, he's got it when he gets tangled up with JDM, whether that's in a clinch or something, he's got to take advantage of the takedowns, because JDM's going to be trying to get the space back, and Islam's got to try and get to a leg or something. So I think it's definitely possible. I think, obviously Islam has a submission threat there, but I don't think it is going to be as easy as it was on Renato Moicano or Charles. I don't want to say it was easy on Dustin. He went 5 rounds with him. But I think it's going to be difficult. I think Jack Della is going to be difficult because he is sizably larger than his last opponents. Dustin, Islam is big for the lightweight division. For 155 pounds, Islam is huge. And Dustin is not. Dustin fits at the 155 very well. It's easy for him to make weight. So there's always been a size discrepancy. So I think 170 is truly Islam's weight class. I would love to see him stick in it and stay in it. We'll see what happens unless the Ilya Topuria fight somehow shakes out. Which that is the only benefit of Islam winning, is that Ilya could probably go up and fight at 170, and that would be awesome. Just for the story, it wouldn't be good for the sport. It wouldn't be good for the UFC, but just for the heck of it, it would be pretty awesome. Number 1 versus number 2, pound for pound. Anyways, there's always the chance that Islam can get it done on the feet. I think my prediction, though, is JDM's going to win by decision. I think that if Islam doesn't get the finish in the first couple of rounds, it's going to decision. I don't think that it will. Be done in the late rounds. Islam did it versus Dustin. He got a great window, got a great opportunity, but I don't think he's going to get that opportunity versus JDM, to be honest. As for JDM and his path to victory, I think we have to note the context here that he had great success versus Bilal in the takedown. And like I said, it was very reactionary. Like, it was just instincts. That's that's more of the word I want to use, is instincts. It was just instincts for him to defend the takedown. So I think you have to remember that. You have to remember that JDM is taller and probably bigger at walking around weight. Maybe the same as Islam. Who knows? But he's been fighting these bigger guys. So the strength is not going to feel crazy, I would imagine. The strength difference between Bilal and Islam is not going to feel crazy. So I think he has to control the distance. I think he has to use teep kicks, knees up the middle, uppercuts, anything up the middle to discourage Islam going to shoot. So that way he can keep the distance and control the striking lane. That has to be huge. I am always a proponent with these Dagestani guys and all these wrestle heavy guys. Kick their bloody legs off. Like, try and break them. When you start kicking their legs, they do not like it. And the other aspect of that is backing them up. Keep backing them up. Do not let them get momentum and leverage to go forward and pounce and get the takedown. You can't let them back up. So JDM has to just keep finding ways. Islam's going to back him up, but he has to be able to circle out, or he's got to be able to start throwing stuff back and not afraid to, which I think that's one thing I love about JDM, is that he's not afraid to get punched in the face. The dude broke his arm in the fight with Gilbert Burns and still got the finish. And part of the TKO was with his broken arm. Just insane. So the guy is tough as nails. I think he needs to accept he's going to get punched in the face a lot, trying to back up Islam, but I think it's super important that he does it. He has to be aware of the takedowns, not overly concerned with them like I was talking about earlier. I think that's a huge path to victory for him. And then just take Islam into the deep waters, man. Islam doesn't like the deep waters. He doesn't breathe very well. So it'll be good. I think he just, like, also with JDM, I was watching his fight with Bilal I think today. I was watching some highlights from it. And when he's being countered or whatever, he does a lot of head movement, and sometimes he has a tendency, it's kind of interesting. He changed this up in the Bilal fight. But he has a tendency to move his head a lot and then lean back really far, which is just like, that's a wrestler's paradise. It's easy shot to the legs. But also, JDM would change it and start squatting down more, protecting his head and body, and just absorbing the shots that come, and then try and return something back, which I think is super important that he does that in this fight as well. So I think it is going to be a great fight. I am pumped about it. The odds right now, as they're sitting, minus 265 for Islam Makhachev. I'm curious what Vegas is seeing to Jack's plus 215. I think that's just like Islam is Islam, and they're giving him that number. More or less giving him the respect when Jack Della kind of got the title fight off of, well, let's go look. It wasn't. It was kind of like when people announced, or when they announced that he got the title fight, it was like, whoa, what? Yeah, like before Bilal, it was Gilbert Burns, Kevin Holland, Randy Brown was in there. Just nothing crazy, nothing notable for the welterweight division. So, but he got the win. He got the win against the guy who's supposedly the best. And I think Jack Della is the real deal. I'm really excited for this fight. I'm going to be in Vegas watching it. No idea where yet. Was really hoping they would be in Vegas, but they're not. They're in Madison Square Garden. That'll be great. So, really excited for this. My prediction is that it's going to go to decision, and I think Jack Della is going to end up winning. What I really hope happens is that we get correct judging like we did in Australia a couple weeks ago. I think it was in Australia. Or no, it was Saudi Arabia. or Abu Dhabi, one of those two places where Jailton Almeida did not get points scored for him for how he fought. And I thought that was the right decision. I thought that was great. He just laid around, didn't advance, didn't go for submissions, didn't really do any ground and pound. Where Volkov was getting ground and pound, getting takedowns, getting strikes, had significantly more strikes, a whole lot more strikes versus Jailton, and the judges scored it accordingly. And I kind of hope we see that. In the event this does turn down into a snooze fest of Islam taking him down and then hiding on his back or just clinching with him in the cage, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think this is going to be Islam's biggest test yet. I think everyone knows that. Because like I have ranted on several times before, Islam has not seen a lot of tests. I mean, we can just go look at his record. I mean, Renato Moicano, short notice. Dustin Poirier, end of his career. Alexander Volkanovski, 2, short notice. Volkanovski, 1, fighting a featherweight at lightweight, and got outstruck by him by 13 strikes. That's what I'm looking at. Charles Oliveira, very significant win. I'm not going to downplay that one. But then got that title shot off of Bobby King Green, Dan Hooker, and Thiago Moises and Drew Dober. Like, what? What are we talking about? So yeah, I think it's going to be a really good fight. I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to be a really good card. But some of these cards where the names have not been super notable. They've been some bangers, and then some of the notable ones have not been some bangers. But anyways, really excited for it. UFC 322. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm super pumped for it. But getting to the end of the show, but I got to have the Heavy Bag Heroes, oh my God, moment of the day. Or moment of the week, really. Some of you may have seen this. Some of you may have not. This has been circulating Instagram and social media platforms. I audibly gasped whenever I saw this. This was easily one of the most shocking things I have ever seen come across Instagram. So what we have here, I'm not going to put the sound on. Actually, I'll put the sound on. It'll help. But this is nuts. Just take a peek at this if you're watching on video, and then I'll explain it for the audio listeners.
Oh, that'll do it. Oh my God. Oh,
Pardon the language in it. What you are witnessing, audio listeners, street fight, guy in white shirt, clearly seems a little more trained. He's fighting a guy in a black shirt. Yin yang. Really cool aspect of this. Guy in white shirt slips a just massively overthrown punch by guy in black shirt. Black shirt loses him, turns around to go correct. White guy meets him. I say white guy. He is a white guy. White shirt hits him with a right hand so hard, he spins him all the way around. It literally looks like his head does a 360. I'm sure he's got neck problems for the rest of his life after that. This guy possibly could be dead. I hope he's not. I hope he's okay. But this was the most insane street KO I have ever seen in my life. One of those moments where you're just like, oh my God, what just happened? Dude's head literally looks like it does a 360. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. And then let's go for our Heavy Bag Hero of the Week. Huh? Why not? We been seeing a lot of them recently. It's been great. I don't even know who this guy is. I just love stuff like this, man. I just seriously love stuff like this. No comments. No comments allowed. Got DMX banging. Just absolutely getting out of it. Crazy head movement. Quick feet, quick feet, quick feet. Absolutely getting after it. Good stuff. And then we got another one right here that I freaking love. My ego doesn't allow regrets. It's like I'm not a hater, and I don't like making fun of people. But I'm like, this guy he's serious. He's like really serious about this and serious about himself. I'm actually curious to see what else he's got on here. Oh. Okay. Yep. By the pool. It's good. Be a man. Always ready to say stuff that I can't pronounce. It's good. Me re-entering my prime after a long time. Quick little incline bench with what I assume to be 17.5 kilos. Is that what the metric system is? I don't know. I don't give a crap. It's America, baby. How many pounds is that? No clubs, no cafes, just me and my gym. Interesting, no cafes. Why not? Cafes are nice. Get a nice coffee, get a croissant. It's good stuff. Running at probably a 13-minute pace here. No, that's way too fast. He's probably at like 60 minutes. Good vibes. Man. Some like these people are real. These are real people. And they have blessed my Instagram algorithm. I'm not mad about it. Oh, a little Dustin Poirier love. Come on, son. Look at this. Look at this. Dustin Poirier. The champ. The people's champ. If that doesn't get you hyped, I don't know what will. Golly, man. Just need to watch that as some pre-workout. Pretty sure I saved like a bunch of Dustin Poirier idiots earlier. Anyways, golly. Let's watch it again. Come on. How hard did you try? Dustin Poirier, that's how hard I tried. 3 championships. All versus pound for pound #1. He didn't take the easy road. He took the hard road, the narrow gate. I don't even know if my audio is getting through. All right, that's enough for tonight. Go check out heavybagheroes.com for this merch. That was a fun episode. I enjoyed that. I think the social media segments are pretty fun. God bless. Have a great week. Enjoy UFC 322.